Proofs for the existence of God from logic are not unique to Christians. In Europe, they come down to us from Aristotle via the great theological mind of St. Thomas Aquinas. St. Thomas's first two arguments run something like this. Nothing is set in motion without an outside force acting upon it, so there must be a first mover that sets things in motion, an unmoved mover. Equally, everything has a cause, but nothing causes itself. It follows that there must be a first cause, an uncaused cause. Putting it simply, everything we know of in the universe comes from something else. Something cannot come from nothing. The universe began to exist, so there must be a cause, a creator. Let's look at two scientific ideas that illustrate this. First, the law of the conservation of energy, or the first law of thermodynamics, which shows that energy can't be created from nothing, nor can it be destroyed. Energy within the universe is transferred. If energy within the universe can only be transferred, not made, then in St. Thomas's terms there must be an unmoved mover, that is, a source for the energy within the universe. Again, these days, we're used to the idea that the universe had a beginning. The most widely accepted theory for the beginning of the universe is the Big Bang, which originates with the Catholic priest and professor of physics Georges Lemaitre, a Belgian. The Big Bang is a beginning, and so suggests the need for a cause. Scientists have not always believed that the universe began. Some theories used to suggest a static and unchanging and eternal cosmos. But the universe did begin, and so with St. Thomas's second argument we can say that there must be a first cause. There is a criticism made against this line of reasoning. Some people say that this is a case of special pleading. You're saying that everything needs a cause, well, then surely God does too. Or to put it as children sometimes do, who made God? Before addressing these questions, let's continue to consider the universe in two other ways. The universe being dynamic leads to an interesting observation that goes back to Edwin Hubble, after whom the famous telescope is named, who showed that star systems and galaxies are not at a fixed distance from one another, but are on the move. We don't live in a world which is unchanging, but a universe which has not only come from somewhere, the Big Bang, but which we think will come to an end, just as we see in daily life, that things begin and end. This end is likely to be heat death, all energy becoming background heat radiation, and this is because the stars and the galaxies are moving further apart. Those stars and galaxies do so on an incomprehensible scale of time to us. They do come to exist, and their existence too ends. Secondly, alongside Lemaitre and Hubble is the famous name of Albert Einstein. Einstein's theory of general relativity, alongside Newtonian gravity and the Big Bang, points to this expanding universe. Furthermore, because of Einstein's work, humanity has been able to calculate the size of the universe, of space and time from the inside, just as you can determine the size of our spherical world from the surface using pi. So this raises the conceptual question for me as to what the universe expands into. Now, I understand that the scientific answer is it needs nothing to expand into. It really is like a reality bubble. Science, therefore, has nothing to say about this embedding space, a place into which the universe expands. On a literal level, that's fine, but let me suggest an analogy. The Christian understanding of God is not just of a distant mover or first cause, rather it's that the whole universe is in the womb of God. That God is the embedding place of the universe itself, the ground of our being. God is not literally a very big place in which the universe exists, but God is and always has, in the Jewish and Christian faiths, been transcendent, beyond the heavens and the earth. That is, beyond the cosmos, and yet intimately present. God is, in other words, infinite. We can now draw a helpful link to St. Thomas's third argument for the existence of God. St. Thomas observes that we do exist, but we clearly do not have to exist because we both begin and stop existing. This, in his terms, means that we are possible beings. If everything in the universe is a possible being, in St. Thomas's words, then St. Thomas goes on to say that in order for possible beings to exist, there must be one whose existence is necessary. And this necessary being is the one whose very nature it is to exist, without beginning and without end. This being we call God. So God is not only infinite regarding space, but is also outside time or eternal. So let's try and clarify this. Let's take clay from the soil as an example to help us understand what St. Thomas means here by a necessary being and how it relates to a mover and a cause. So where I live in Hull, the boulder clay is many metres deep. It was moved to where it is now by glaciers in the last ice age. Likewise, you move by using energy which comes from plants and then originally from the sun. All things move or are moved by other things. Second, the clay is caused by acid or alkaline chemical erosion, leaching it out of feldspar-rich rocks like granite. Likewise, you are caused by the conjoining of two unique genetic blueprints from egg and sperm in one cell that then multiplies. Everything in the universe is caused by something else. The clay is contingent, that is to say, it relies on the prior existence of the rock. The rock from which the clay is leached must exist first in order that the clay can exist. But the rock in turn is contingent on magma from the earth. And so both the clay and the rock are possible beings. Likewise, it's necessary for your biological parents to have existed for you to exist, but they needed parents as well. All things that exist in the universe are contingent on something else existing prior to them. So, in order that we exist, there must be a first being, a necessary being, on whom all things are contingent, but who does not rely on another's prior existence. So the argument that the universe needs a cause is true because we see that what is in the universe is all subject to cause and effect, beginning and ending. But the reasoned claim that is made for God is that God is not in or subject to the universe of space and time. The limitations of all things in the universe, those things which we know of and can see, they must be caused, they must be set in motion. They pass through space and time as possible beings that rely on the existence of prior beings. But God is the necessary being, eternal without time, and infinite, unconfined and unmeasurable by material or spatial existence in the universe. The one in whom the universe exists. Indeed, God is in the universe, permeating it, as a mother permeates her own womb, her heartbeat and voice muffled but present. Think of it this way. If you see a clay water jug on a table, you don't expect to look in the jug to find the potter, or that the potter would be made of clay like the jug. But the jug still suggests the existence of a potter, though they're not the same type of thing.